brush of angels' wings, I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Good morning,
So pretty.
everybody.
So pretty.
Blue sky smiling at me, nothing but blue skies do I see. Feel free to stand and sing along. Bluebirds singing a song, nothing but blue words all day long. I never saw the sun shining so bright, never saw things going so right, noticing the days hurrying by. When you're in love, my how they fly. Blue days, all of them gone, nothing but blue skies from now on. Now we can all just groove, oh Lord, tickles the plastic ivories. Never saw the sun so bright, never saw things going so right, noticing the days hurrying by. When you're in love, my how they fly. Blue days, all of them gone, nothing but blue skies from now on. Nothing but blue skies from now on.
It was a memory test. Yes, indeed. I'm like, whoa, I don't know what words come after. Oh, I do know. They were in there all the time. Good morning and welcome. We greet you in the warm and loving spirit of unity, in that deep, centered spirit of oneness. We acknowledge those of you online. We say good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. If you're online this morning, wonderful. Let us know you're there so that we can include you in our thoughts. But anytime you watch, we're with you because we're one in spirit. We're one in the experience of life. Beyond time, beyond space, beyond distance, we are at one with one another. And in that experience of oneness, we offer that unity welcome, that moment in time when we stand up and say to one another, good morning and welcome. And if you're here for the first time, please acknowledge that to someone so that they know your name and that you're here, so that next Sunday or the one after or whenever you see each other in the grocery store, you can say, hi, I remember you from Unity. So take a moment and greet one another, if you will.
car last week and I didn't come, and now it's back at my office.
I know, I'm leaving for Spokane this weekend.
So yeah, that's right.
All right, folks. Now you've connected with somebody, hopefully in a good way. That moment when we take the risk to step forward and greet someone we've never met before. And our mind begins to create whatever stands before us in the way of our own personal space or our barricades or what we say or what we do or how other people do things. But there's a moment when all that falls away and we simply say, hi, I'm happy to meet you. So glad you're here. And we're so glad you're here. If it's your first Sunday with us, we welcome you most especially. Thank you for being here. And I'm just grateful every Sunday morning for each person who becomes a part of our Sunday Morning Unity family. To walk in the door is to be greeted in the awareness that you are not only one with the living presence of God, you are the very perfect expression of the presence of God. You are that onward, upward, forward movement of the living presence of Spirit. And in that we see you whole, we see you perfect, we see you unlimited, we see you free. We see you rising above all manner of things, empowered by the Spirit within you. So thank you for being here. We're really grateful for your presence. We have a lot going on. We've been really busy, and there is a whole lot to share with you this morning. If you'd like to know, we had a vision last year, and the vision was that we would clean up our neighborhood. It had become a challenging area. And down at the corner, if you've ever seen the food and beverage place at the corner called Cats, they've been amazing in leading the effort for neighborhood cleanup. And today at 1 o'clock, they're doing a spring cleanup day. 1 o'clock at Cats, and I don't know what they're looking for or what they need, but it's spring cleanup. And so if you can take a moment and do that, that would be lovely. Neighborhood spring cleanup. Today at 3 o'clock, there is a vigil for Julie Montag heirs. It will be in Bellingham at the Maritime Heritage Amphitheater. If you or anyone you know would like to drive to Bellingham for that vigil, you would be very welcome. There will be spiritual leaders, religious leaders, friends, family, people who know Julie, and those who are just simply praying for her speedy I don't know how to say it. The speedy finding of Julie. Julie is a unity minister, has served a very long time. 2 Fridays ago, she disappeared, and no one knows what happened. So they were out on a walk, and she just simply didn't return. 67 years old, some dementia, and we've been all over the world praying for Julie's finding. So if you'd like to be a part of that vigil, please, Maritime Heritage Amphitheater today in Bellingham at, what did I say, 3 o'clock. Great. Yeah, wonderful, Betsy, thank you. We have so many announcements, and I just want to get them out of the way before we get into other things. Cleo, can you talk quickly about our Adventures in Prosperity treasure hunt? Can she have your mic? Thanks. Do you need your sheet? Given you may probably not. Yeah.
Good morning. Next Sunday, I'm requesting that those of you that would like to understand more about this event coming up, Treasures in Prosperity, where we're going to ask you to be so generous in finding treasures within your home or your neighbors that are of quality, because these are going to go up for sale in an online auction as a new kind of fundraiser. And there's a lot to it, but it's all designed to have fun, to come together as a team and get to know each other better and enjoy each other's company while we create a wonderful experience in prosperity. So next Sunday at 12:30, I'm thinking, we'll gather up and I will explain the details. I think that should be it for
Great,
now.
thank you. We want wonderful treasures, things that you're willing to let go of, or may not yet be willing, but are willing to stretch to let go of, to be part of this fundraising effort. Affirmative prayer, a workshop, 4 weeks, Tuesdays, beginning April 18 through May 9. More details available should you choose to participate. Our prayer team will be participating in that effort. We invite you to Drumming Circle, 6 to 7:30, the first Wednesday of every month. Something new, something new, something new, or something old, reborn, as the case may be. I don't know what the request about volunteers for the Healing Wednesdays are. I'd like to postpone that one until next week. I would like to let you know the work of our prayer team goes on and on and on and on. We had a prayer team meeting. Our prayer team has grown. We have new members and longtime members. And prayer is powerful. Prayer is powerful. Prayer request slips look like this. You can put one in the prayer box over there. We pray for everything from lost keys to whatever else it might be that occurs in your life that you would like prayer support for. If you are online, you can submit a prayer request at info@unitysv.org. Did I miss any? There's a birthday in the house. Dave, stand up. Maybe you have a birthday. Stand up too. March birthday, sure. Let's do it. Julie brought cake in honor of Dave's birthday. Please stay after and share. Have a piece of birthday cake. Yay. Big cake? Carrot cake. Big carrot cake. Okay. It's a good day. It's a good day at Unity of Skagit Valley. Okay. Clear the deck. We could do an hour of announcements. What happened to us?
We're coming back
It's springtime in the valley. We got a lot happening. And we love you and are grateful for your support in the many things we do. Sunday morning greeting team, Richard, thank you. To our sound and technical team, thank you. To Ireland, our beautiful, beautiful Ireland, thank you. And Ward, thank you. Anybody who volunteers in any way in our ministry, we are so grateful for you. You keep this family moving forward, upward, as I said, and onward. And it's Sunday, the 26th of March. I draw from my wellspring of joy. Would you, Heather?
Good morning, everyone. Isn't it a beautiful day? Spring. Joy. There are so many ways to express joy. I may speak words of praise that bring the awareness of even more blessings to mind. I may take joyful action, my every step aglow with the light of God, enlivening everything I do. I celebrate the playful joy of every child, especially the child within me. I experience the same happiness whether I am in the heart of a busy city or the stillness of nature. And then there is the quiet joy of just being, the richest joy of all. I rediscover my joy by taking slow, deep breaths, tapping into my wellspring of well-being that never runs out. I feel its energetic flow spilling over into my heart and life. What joy to be a spiritual being, a precious child of God. And from Luke 2:10, but the angel said to them, do not be afraid, for see, I am bringing you good news of great joy for all the people. I draw from my wellspring of joy. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. Our children's program is underway. This Wednesday night we had a special evening for parents to have a little time away. There were 6 children, as I understand. They took over and the place got cleaned up to perfection, and that'll be once a month for parents who'd like to share their children while they go do something else. Go to the grocery store, go to dinner, have a date, do something special. Just wanting to be present. I just want to be present without all the stuff. And maybe you come wanting that as well, just to be present, to be connected Godward, inward, to be in that spirit, that pure energy of spirit, the one that's right there in your breath and in the beating of your heart, the one that we're told is nearer than hands and feet, nearer than we are to ourselves, the presence, the one, the presence of life, that pure life energy that flows radiantly in and through us. Healing energy, life force, that which creates and generates, that which is the guiding wisdom that reveals itself in the midst of us, in the midst of our days, in the midst of all aspects of our lives. That which is the very peace, as it said, that passes all understanding. That presence of strength. And courage. Not somewhere far distant, but here in the midst of your own heartbeat, your own breath. I turn to the spirit within, and I allow myself to release, to let go, and to open. Whatever you have carried with you, I invite you now to let go, to open, and to know that Spirit is at work within you and around you and in and through all your life. Ward, would you give us a little something soft? Just draw us in. Let yourself be held. Allow yourself to be carried. For the whole Spirit of God is with you and within you now. We come to prayer, opening, knowing that God's good work is our comfort, our way showing, our blessing. We extend that awareness to all others. God is your comfort, your way showing. For those for whom we would pray, we extend the awareness of a light, divine light, shining in the midst of each moment and each step. We allow the light to extend from within our hearts, from within our minds, to be a blessing to all of life. The place of earthquake, the place of tornado, the place of loss and grief, the place where life in its most primal form is emerging and opening to the radiance of this new moment. It may seem dark, but there is a great light that shines for each of us, guiding us, caring for us. As you breathe deeply, may you feel the tender touch of the Spirit within you and the love around you. Spirit, guide my steps. Guide my steps. For I would know that you are present before I move my foot, revealing the way, opening the way. You inspire me with knowing and understanding. And you fill me with an ever-present possibility of new life. With a breath, I open a little more in trust for this extraordinary journey. In the confusion and the uncertainty, clarity arises. In those moments when the obstacles seem too high, I release and let go and surrender and allow you to be the strength, the power, the journey goes on. Some days it's hard, and some days there's so much joy we can hardly contain it. And your presence is there in the midst of it all, giving me all I need to do all that is to be done. You supply my needs. You lead me beside the still water. You create sanctuary for my soul. You create that ever unfolding love that satisfies my deepest longing. And in your presence, I remember that I am never separate from your goodness, your grace, and your glory. In that knowing, and with my heart open, I give thanks. I am not alone, for your presence is within me and before me and around me and above and beneath me and in every step I take. In gratitude and with joy in my heart, I say amen, and so be it. And so it is.
I hope you never lose your sense of wonder. You get your fill to eat, but always keep that hunger. May you never take one single breath for granted. God forbid love ever leave you empty-handed. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you never fear those mountains in the distance. Never settle for the path of least resistance. Living might mean taking chances, they're worth taking. Loving might be a mistake, but it's worth making. Don't let some hell-bent heart leave you bitter. When you come close to selling out, reconsider. Give the heavens above more than just a passing glance. And when you get the choice to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance. I hope you dance.
Thank you. Mr. Jerry, it's hot at our end of the room. Our new HVAC system works so perfectly. It's working perfectly. I don't want you to fall asleep. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank our HVAC support people. Thank you so much. So we're 2 weeks away from Easter. The story, as we tell it in our tradition, is a story that goes on and on and on and on and on and on. That we're all experiencing this story in our lives. We're all experiencing it regularly, consistently regularly, without gaps. Spring comes, Easter happens, we reflect on our lives, we say, oh, yeah, it's that journey again. It's always that journey from the known through the turmoil into the unknown and into a new state of being. It's always a journey about finding in ourselves more than we imagined, in the way of transformation, in the way of moving into the elements of the deepest parts of our own being. And so we say, well, yes, it's about the life of one, but it's the life of all. There's a reason these stories are not just stories in books. These truths, these ideas, these teachings that came through sacrifice, came through a willingness to surrender, came through an opportunity to let go into the wholeness and the fullness of life. This story and the way in which we journey it is the experience that each of us has met, walked through, and risen above countless numbers of times. How many times we thought, not today. No, not today. And yet there we were in the midst of something that we were not necessarily seemingly conducting, but was presencing for us to experience in ways that would bring us into a whole new way of being. But we couldn't see that at the time. We didn't have that foresight to know that out of this particular challenge or turmoil or movement in my life, it's going to lead to something unforeseen, something I do not know and cannot yet understand. And it always comes as a mystery. And so as we move forward on the journey this year, each of us in our own way, whatever we've been through, whatever we're going through, I found a passage that really spoke to me, and it was on the pre-journey to Jerusalem, pre-Holy Week activities, but it was preparation time. And there was a whole lot going on. And we don't know time, and we don't know the exact details of much of these teachings and words. But this is what it says. He turned his face. Now when the time was almost come, for Jesus to be received into heaven, he steadfastly and determinedly set his face to go to Jerusalem. There was something about that really stood out for me this time. When the time was almost come to move into the next phase of the journey, he steadfastly and determinedly set his face toward whatever was coming next in the unfolding of this process. So we say Jesus was at a moment. How would anyone know the outcome How would anyone be guaranteed of the outcome? But in his own mind, the determination of his own being was born out of this sense of being on a journey, being in the midst of something that was bigger than he knew and more than he could imagine. And so we think, well, he's already telling them, I'm not going to be with you much longer. Things are unfolding. I'm not going to be able to stay. And there's some really important things you need to know. And he'd been saying it and demonstrating it and saying it and demonstrating it and saying it and demonstrating it. And now it was time. Now it wasn't anymore about, let's have a conversation. I'm going to give you encapsulated teachings now, before we ever get to Jerusalem, that will be the hallmark of everything you will come to understand about the spiritual journey, about yourself, about your life, and about what is to be. I'm just going to encapsulate them in moments. And so that piece of the journey from today's the day, the turning point, today's the day when I pack my bags, today's the day when I let go of those things that are holding me back. The dreams, wishes, desires, expectations, things that are of the what has been. I'm moving forward. I'm moving forward. I'm not just moving into an irreconcilable situation. I am centering myself in the power, in the presence, and I'm moving forward now. I am declaring my at-one-ment. I am declaring my unity, not just in the external sense, my unity, my oneness with the power and the presence that will take it the rest of the way. And every piece that came after was an unfolding of that, even up to the crucifixion and then through the resurrection. Steadfast determination sounds like control to me. Isn't it steadfast determination? How many times have you had steadfast determination about something that didn't work well? Steadfast determination. I'm doing it. I'm going here. It's going to happen. I have a friend. She just returned from a photographic safari in Tanzania. It cost a fortune, literally. She had retired from her position and had made a decision. She really wanted that. She wanted the opportunity for this journey, for the learning, for the exploration. She didn't even have to pack her own equipment. It was going to be furnished. Everything was like this magic journey. And she'd been talking about it for years, like I don't know how many years. It was coming, 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 it was coming. Oh, it's here. I get a text from her. I'm in Amsterdam. I'm moving on to Tanzania. Tomorrow, everything's all set. 3 days into the trip, it turned into the journey from hell. No, not bad. That ever happened to you? Your perfect dream, your perfect plan. You set your mind to it. You got the pieces in order. You got the trip planned. You've got everything where it needs to be, and then life happens. The perfect way to say it. So there she is. She has come down with some extreme illness that lasts the remainder of the time. They are in this incredible dust, the natural red dust of this area, and they're in tents that are guarded by Maasai warriors, so they don't get eaten by night prowling animals. I mean, the whole story is like, oh no, tell me it's not true, Maureen. Tell me it's not true. And it got worse from there, she said. And then it was this, and she's not a complainer. She's one of the strongest people I've ever known. She's my friend who one day, in the hardship of another kind of trek she was doing, in heat and extremity, had one of those moments when she felt she couldn't go on any further, when suddenly she stepped out of her body. Her spirit, literally, her internal beingness stepped out and went before her and brought the body along. She said, I felt it happen. I could see me step forward while the rest of me was coming along for the ride. Deer flies and heat and a trek that was much longer than it was supposed to be without water, sufficient water. And there she is. And so this is the kind of friend she is. And everywhere she goes, something extraordinary happens. And I said to her, I think staying home is good for you. I think all of these things you do push the envelope, and that's who she is. That's who she is. She's a person who travels around the world to troubled countries and sets up and trains judicial systems in emerging countries. Not a person with a lot of fear. So I looked at Maureen's life and put it in contrast to mine, and you think, well, it's got to be a big deal. This we're talking about is a big deal. We're talking about Jesus on the road. No, I am, yes, but I'm talking about us. I'm talking about the way we set ourselves forward with determination to follow something we can't see, with implications that are unknown, standing steadfast in the presence. Standing steadfast in the presence. The time to find your resource isn't when you're in hell. The time to find your resource is day by day as you cultivate your own strength and readiness to meet the moments, because there are moments that are always unfolding in our lives, whether we want them to or not. And Jesus said, no matter how bad it gets, take heart. I've been there. I know what it is. I know what this journey is. This journey Godward. This journey into the divine, this journey into the deepest recesses of our own being. You'll be tested, you'll be tried, and sometimes you'll trip and fall. The teachings on this part of the journey that I touched into were about the Good Samaritan story. And I'm going to save that for another time, because that's not where we're leading right now. But we ask the question, if you're going to respond to Spirit, what do you expect to happen? If you're going to live your life as a spiritual being, if you're going to live your life in consort, in relationship with the beloved of your being, what do we think is going to happen? That because someone walked before us and opened the doors and the windows and the way, that we won't have these times? When off we go with a lilt in our voice and a little whoop-de-doo under our belt, only to discover that we've stepped right into the middle of another growth time, another unfolding time, another journey to Jerusalem. for each of us. It's been a long time ago, went to Israel with a group, a peacekeeping group, led by someone I've spoken of a lot, Dana and Perry. And while we were there, we did our primary work with the Palestinian people in refugee camps and around and about. And I don't know what I thought was going to happen there, but we ended up, because your fondest dream becomes your great growth opportunity, we ended up in the refugee camps. And they dropped us off. They just took us in and dropped us off, and there were some people that were going to kind of be our mentors in the refugee camp. We didn't know how we got there. We didn't know how we were going to get out. And during that time, prior to the refugee camp experience, we'd done some interesting things and reached out and accomplished some things. But in the refugee camp, they had to keep us hidden because the camps were full of soldiers, Israeli soldiers. And I'm thinking, I don't know where I am. I don't know how I got here. I don't really know what to do. I don't know how to do this. And I'm very frightened. And I'm powerless. I remember that feeling of being absolutely powerless. And people wanting us to know about relationship, Palestinian, Israeli, all of that. So we come through that time, and our church in Bellevue created what we called love covers for Palestinian children in the orphanages. And they wouldn't release them to us through customs. So we made, I don't remember how many of these things we made. They were small for babies, cribs. They wouldn't release them. They wouldn't let them go. And they never did let them go during the time that I stayed. Later, somebody was able to get them out and distribute them. But I remember how strongly and stridently, so I'm in Jerusalem now, right? And I think this place brings up so much in me. What was it like 2,000 years ago, Jerusalem? What is this about Jerusalem? What is the power of Jerusalem? And what is the power at work in these oil and water situations? You know, what is it? And if you look deeply, you see that the same problems that existed 2,000 years ago exist today in Jerusalem and in our lives. They exist all over the world, the same problems, the same issues, the same ongoing, forever present regurgitation of the same issues. And here we have someone who has said to us, just keep walking and knowing, keep walking and knowing, and walking and knowing. Because this road isn't the easiest road to take. As a matter of fact, the road is hard, but the way is what? Easy. The road is hard, but the way is easy. So we went to the airport on one of the trips to try to recover one of these boxes of love covers to distribute. And at the airport, because we were in a Palestinian taxi, they stopped us and took the car apart. They literally started taking the tires off and dismantling the car because it was a Palestinian taxi. I am outside the car. I want you to hear this. I am outside the car screaming at a guard. Screaming. It had so deeply impacted me, all of it. Not because Israeli-Palestinian, I'm not going there. I'm screaming at this young man, I don't know, maybe 20 years old, who's disassembling this plan that I've had for these love covers, who's blocking my way, who's challenging my seeming right. I'm screaming at him at the top of my, and he's walking around the car, and I'm following him around the car. Screaming at him about his rights, screaming at him about the atrocity, screaming about, I don't even know. It brought me to that place of powerless strength. It didn't change a thing. But it felt so good to stand on the ground of something that felt in me like taking that strength within me and giving it voice. Before we left Israel, a friend who worked in one of the organizations, she had become a friend, said, "Would you take some photographs back with you? I'm going out of country and I'm leaving soon." And I said, "Sure, I've got room." Gave her my shoes and took her photographs. Got to the airport, going through customs. When they started to look through my bags at depth, and they had Dana's photographs of Palestinians, of refugee camps, of all manner of, I didn't look at them, I didn't know. I ended up in one of those little enclosures with 3 major guards with guns trying to justify why I was doing something and what it meant. And I realized through my terror and the prayer that they weren't going to body search me, I was like, no bombs here, just a little few pounds extra, but no bombs here. I remember thinking, what do you do when it gets hot? You step outside yourself in surrender. What do you do when the impact is so significant in that moment? When the heat's turned up, when you're in that peak growing moment, whatever it is, a moment of choice, a moment of decision, a moment of steadfast determination, seemingly. What do you do? What do you do? What do you know to do, Linda? What do you know to do? There's only one answer. Take a breath. Surrender. Just surrender. And of course, within a short period of time, they let me go through customs and make my flight. But I thought, the scream that I was using at the guard that wouldn't give me what I wanted, that was mine. There was no scream there in that moment. There was no righteousness in that moment. There was no fight for things to be a particular way in that moment. What do you do when it's hot? What do you do when things on the road are askew? What do you do when you know you're setting something in motion that's going to change everything? What do you do? Pray. Go deep. Dive deep into those inner resources that you can't necessarily see or feel. And know that in that moment in time, and surrender to the power that is greater than we will ever imagine it to be, we end up exactly where we belong. Just when we need to be there. And so they set out on the road to Jerusalem, and the journey is a fertile journey. A journey more meaty, because there's so much that matters now. Do you stand and fight? Or is your steadfast determination toward, I will go to my Father and your Father? I prepare a place for you in every moment in time. Jerusalem. You know what Jerusalem means metaphysically? Habitation of peace. When I'm moving to Jerusalem in my own mind, my Jerusalem, whatever that is, I'm moving to the realization that I am inhabited by peace. My Jerusalem is that state of calm awareness, a deeper peace, and an opening of the path into things I could not dream, with results that I could not imagine, that always take me toward my higher good. We can do it. We've had 1,000 million Jerusalems, some bigger than others. We'll continue the journey next Sunday. Thanks for being here. Let's move toward, after a deep breath, please. I had something funny to read to you today, but I don't have time now. Did you ever read Max Lucado's book called Traveling Light? Well, don't buy it. Buy it if you want to. The preface of it is he can't travel light. He's incapable of traveling light. We don't travel light. We are filled with so much energy, possibility, life to express, experience, and allow. As we share our tithes and love offerings, we see and know that the true spirit of abundance is that state of being in which we live, move, and have our true beingness. We are born of the very substance of abundance. And that which created life is unfolding constantly, a new state of abundance in and through us as we grow in consciousness to see, yes, I am abundantly prospered. In this moment in time, I am abundantly prospered, and God is my source. God is my source. constant and never failing. As you hold your gift in your hand, let's bless it. I give joyfully and easily, for God is my source, and abundance is my nature. Loving Spirit, may these gifts do great work. May they move through us to be multiplied, returned to the giver. And may they move in that constant, steady stream of the abundance of all. We are so grateful, and so it is. Amen. Make music. Make music. Yeah. Morning. Beautiful, thank you. Here they come. Do we have two? We have two. We have two. Hi, Kate. Hi, Lily. I know the music does that to you, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Yeah, we have to be a little careful. Who was to lead our blessing for the kids? We do. Our prayer for protection we speak on Sunday mornings, one of Unity's great blessings and affirmations and confirmations. Speak it with me together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Please stand, let's sing our peace song.